This fine Wednesday. Let me just hit the horn because I haven't done that in a while. And today is a horn day. It is tipping points and puzzle pieces. You know what time it is. It is myself and the illustrious Mark Boatwright Frost, who is here on stage with us, not bringing him up from the back. He's already here, leading from the front. And that's how it goes. Can't wait to hear what we're going to talk about. Hopefully, we're going to recap Stone Soup because that was a wonderful event. But Mark, take it away.
Well, actually, you're right. This is the after party.
Oh, hey.
And we're not laying around totally drunk and trying to recover from hangovers. Isn't that a great thing?
Well, I mean, considering when it was, if you're still hungover, that's a hell of a party.
Yeah, it was one hell of a party. Actually, it was a phenomenal night. It was a phenomenal night. And we were well attended on Sunday at the meet and greet with people who were asking questions and connecting. Um, but yeah, it was well, to be honest, it was a hell of a lot of work. As it came down to it, Chef Chris now outdid himself, and we were eating the beef broth or the beef soup for the next 2 days.
Nice.
Um, and it was phenomenal each day. As you know, soup gets better the longer it's around
Hmm.
because it gets blend. The messaging was good. The people who we recognized as community champions, the vast majority of them were there and had a lot of great things to say. Um, all good people. It was about the community, and the community showed up for it, and it was good. Matter of fact, I haven't even talked to you since the event was what happened, and didn't get your feedback about it as you filmed it. And I'm hoping you got some good shots because
Oh, I did.
nobody got any pictures that I know of, and I'd like to post
Oh,
them and
really?
get out there. So whatever you got, send my direction.
Oh man, I've got some good stuff. I'm gonna do some editing. I do have a bunch of pictures. Maybe I can bring it up and show folks some of those pictures
That would be
uh,
awesome.
today.
So they
Uh,
get the feeling of it. What did you think about it?
yeah, well, one thing I'll say is, I'm actually a board member for the library,
Hmm.
and the Stone Soup was in the executive director's minutes out to the entire library staff, and just acknowledging and just talking about what it was great to be recognized and what a great event. So that was good to see.
Yep.
For me, I really enjoyed it. I did not know the Stone Soup story prior to you telling me the story. It's really cool to see ideas come to fruition. It's like, hey, we should do Stone Soup. Well, what's Stone Soup? Well, let me tell you, and let me tell you why this is important. It would be really cool. And so to watch it be this seedling and to watch it grow and all the fits and starts, right? It's like, oh, it's not gonna bloom and or it's not gonna come up through the ground. It finally does, and then it kind of slows down. All the drama you went
Hmm.
through behind the scenes. And if anyone has put on a big event, it's never gonna be the way that you intend for it to go. You want everything to be perfect, but it always turns out great. And so I could see, your anxiety and stress levels, but I can't see how it could have turned out better. Aside from some of the awardees, not being able to show up on the night for whatever their reasons were. Man, it was a lot of fun. Just a lot of community. I met a lot of people I didn't know.
Hmm.
Got to hang out with some people that I did know. I love the idea of you really expressing that this isn't going to be a space where we're going to talk about politics or local issues or religion or any of those things. And so because of that, it allowed everyone to kind of come into a space and just enjoy themselves and have a good time. You were very conscious of people's dietary needs as you have a very sensitive palate yourself. So having
Hmm.
the vegetarian option and the meat option was fantastic. Man, it smelled wonderful because I'm in there setting up early. So if you got a whiff, and shout out, let me give a applause to Chef. He did his thing. He really put his foot in it. Uh,
No, he did not. He did not put his foot in the soup.
and
Okay.
that's where all the flavor was, right? But another cook that was there mentioned, just how much richer the soup was because of using the bone broth and not just the regular kitchen broth, right? Um,
Shout out to Menders.
mhm,
They give us a significant discount on the beef bones for the soup.
mhm.
And I started it at 10 o'clock in the morning, so those bones were cooking down all day long.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, it was just fantastic. Man, the people that were recognized really appreciated it. As you said in the event, and we didn't air it live. And what I would say is my hope is now that we're on the other side, and as you're hearing about it, for the next Stone Soup, because this sounds like this is going to be an annual thing,
Yes, it is.
you will come, and I really have to be careful on how much access I provide, in that I want to be able to give people the experience that truly can't make it, but I don't want to provide an experience for folks that are just like, man, I could just stay home and watch it on Facebook or YouTube, right? But like the point is to come out and fellowship. So that's why we didn't air it live.
Yeah, and I just realized, yeah, okay, in a planning for an event like this, there's a lot of things that are happenstance in the timing of things because things are available and everything else, or things weren't available. We were thinking about doing this in January or at the end of the year. And actually, at the end of the year, it would have competed with a whole bunch of other things. In January, everyone's recovering from the holidays. But having it early February is important in a couple of other things, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we move on to the show. But the most important thing, it literally is the start of our outreach season because we will be at. We just got a table at the Silverdale Green Drinks uh, annual nonprofit showcase at the Kitsap Country Club on
Nice.
March 6th. We will be there for that. We are going to be at the South Sound Sustainability Festival for a fourth straight year on the 13th, I believe, of April for the Earth Day celebration that they do every year. We will have a table down there. And there are a lot of other things coming up that we will be engaging in as we move forward. So this is kind of the Stone Soup actually turned out to be the launch of what we're going to be doing going into the year. And a couple things that Marwan doesn't know about, even though he's president of our board, because quite honestly, it was a brainchild over the last few days. But if you had been at Stone Soup, you would have seen a table by Crystal Connolly talking about soil health and soil samples. You would have seen us talk about gardening and community gardens. It is our hope that we have a neighborhood garden in every neighborhood in Kitsap County at some point. We are building the resources to help make that happen. And food security and neighborhood gardening are really big on our agenda moving forward. We have a garden going on Matthew's house, which is very near where the Stone Soup was held. We have several other people that are lining up for gardens. We just started having a conversation with Marwan about using his greenhouse, and I don't think he has any idea to what extent those plants are growing. He's going to have a lot of stuff going on over there, and we will be tending his garden and making it more fruitful for his neighborhood. We have a lot of plans around that piece of it. We also plan to do a late March event around gardening, and we will have seed starts for people to come get. We will be bringing in farmers. We will be bringing in local gardeners. We want to have a celebration of growing because that's when you plant. And
Mhm.
if you look at the agrarian calendar, we should be doing seeds right now. We should be planting those, putting the plants in the ground in late March. Um, and then we're looking at an early May event to celebrate that and do a barbecue and clam bake type of event. Then we're working on the location for that now.
Wow, that is chock full. You know what? I have never participated in a clam bake. What is that?
Well, you know those two giant pots we had for the soup?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to fill those with water and we're going to put them on burners and we're going to put a lot of Old Bay seasoning in it, some garlic, probably some ginger for those who think a little more exotically. You throw clams and scallops and crab and lobster
Oh,
into there and corn on the cob for those who can eat it. And you let them boil in this like giant 32 ounce. When it's done boiling, you dump it out and people grab it and start eating it.
all right. You had me once you started saying crab, lobster. Yeah, all in for that. Yeah, I had no idea what that was. I actually thought a clam bake was like people are just sitting around eating a bunch of clams, like
Well,
steamed clams.
that's part of it, but in this case, we're going to go full New England style and do fish. We're probably going to grill some salmon, and for those of you who do not eat fish, we will have some burgers and dogs and such.
Salmon is one of my favorites.
Yeah. By the way, you're flashing on and off, Marwan. I don't know what's going
Oh,
on.
it's camera two. That's why I'm on my side camera here. So
Okay.
I'll try to work on that here in a minute once you go on another filibuster.
So anyway,
Eat my
we have
peanut butter jelly sandwich here. Layla's
yeah.
not here. She's allergic to peanut butter, so I can enjoy a sandwich.
So yeah, we are going to have a year full of engaging people and pushing the whole Food for All project and both sides of it. We hope to bring food security and local food production to the forefront of every conversation if we can. And the library was very interested in what we're doing. I'm hoping to have further conversations with them about maybe putting lists together for people who want to grow locally, what the appropriate things to grow are, to engage in what local food looks like,
Hmm.
and become a resource for people to go to find the information they need to be successful in growing gardens. We're hoping to bring more people who are gardeners on to be resources for other people.
And I would tell you, they are chock full of resources. So, um, part of the me growing was working with Priya. Shout out to Priya, who's no longer
Yeah.
with the library, sharing that information. And then the library does their reading event every summer. And one of the awards was, a windowsill, what do they call them? It's not an atrium,
It's a planter box,
but yeah,
windowsill planter
some
box.
fancy name to grow herbs or whatever in
Mhm.
your windowsill in your kitchen. And it's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, you've got to get into this. You got to do it. You have no excuses, right? You're being hit from all different ways. The library, Prosecco, and so I started my kale this year. Some of the stalks are still looking pretty good. I mean, most of them died because of the ice in the winter, and I just didn't take care of them. But I didn't lose the whole crop, and so I can't wait to hear what you have planned for the greenhouse and
Well,
look
we will
to
be helping you take care of it.
oh, I love it. Expanding it. Well, and the thing is I am tremendously busy. I did transplant the kale from the backyard to the front yard. Um, because it just wasn't going well, out of sight, out of mind. So literally, I come out of my front door. That increased the likelihood that it was going to get watered and whatnot. So, yeah, no, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear what the plans are.
Yeah, we are going to be focusing on yours and Matthew's yard up front and the greenhouse because your greenhouse will be good for growing starters
Hmm.
and getting the plants to a state where we can grow them in your yard. We're going to add to your kale
Ooh,
and probably put some tomatoes out there.
ooh, I love kale, and Layla loves tomatoes.
So yeah, and so you can go like take a tomato off your plant and slice it up for a hamburger.
A hamburger, a salad, put a little salt
Yep,
on it, just eat it.
yep, salt and a little pepper. Yeah.
A little pepper, okay.
So yeah, we plan to give Marwan a green thumb if we have to grab it and paint it. Um,
You might have to do that. Might be the only way.
So, and Matthew's yard is going to go. We're in discussions with Matthew about the seeds he's planting. Terry's working with him. Terry's really going to start driving this.
Okay.
We have a new potential board member who's going to actually, who is extremely well versed in this. And when she's completely on board, we're going to have discussions about her helping drive this project until we can get resources and gardens going everywhere we can get them going. Now, why would we be doing this? Why is this important? Well, gardens make you feel good. They're pretty. They give flowers, all of those things. But let's be real. There are more reasons. We never do anything with just feel good reasons. It's feeling
Really?
good. Feeling good is just the plus. But have anybody watched the food prices go up?
I was watching a news cast this morning. They were saying eggs have tripled,
Yep.
17% inflation.
Yeah, and a lot of them aren't available. I mean, the Wilcox eggs we get at Costco from local egg raisers
Hmm.
are not. They just are empty. The slot's gone. We had to buy the ones we don't like as much because they aren't as fresh and they aren't as good tasting. So once our Wilcox are gone, we're going to have to wait until things normalize again so that they can come back. Um,
I
it,
might know
it,
someone who has some chickens that might be able to hook you up.
well, that is a good thing too, and we should all be looking at things in a more macro way. One of the reasons we need to talk about this is that okay, you can go out and buy seeds. Let's talk about a dirty little secret that goes along with buying seeds, as Marwan's eating his peanut butter. A lot of companies that sell you seeds, the seeds that you're getting will grow one plant, but the fruit from the plant will not provide seeds that will grow another plant.
Okay.
So you cannot reuse the seeds. Also, a lot of plants are genetically modified. That's one genetic modification, and several others genetic modifications happen to make them prettier, but frequently less nutritious and less flavorful. So we want to focus on heirloom. We want to focus on diversity. We want to focus on getting people used to really good tasting fruit that make fruit being tomatoes and everything that's a fruit of a plant, and having them feel better because it is nutritious and it is filling them and they don't have cravings for things because they aren't getting what they actually need. That's a part of it. But we want to capture seeds and expand what the Port Orchard Library is already doing, which is to say they have a seed exchange. You can go to the library and get seeds for your garden. There's
Really?
on Facebook, you have groups that do seed exchanges. You can reach out to them saying, "Hey, I need some tomato seeds. Do you have any?" And they'll give you the information and get you the seeds. We
Wow.
need to do that on a countywide level so we can get healthy seeds and create security by having seeds to continue to grow plants without depending on the corporate machine and whatever they throw at it. And I'll admit, I am probably way more paranoid about corporate products than I need to be. But when it comes to my family's health, I'm really touchy about things that have been genetically modified in ways to better supposedly strengthen them, while it is actually weakening the diversity of our agriculture system.
Let me ask you a question, Mark. I know
Let me
we've
give you
got
an
the
answer.
big, we have the super seed vault in Antarctica.
Yeah,
Do we have like county seed vaults?
no. Well, maybe some counties do, but not here.
Wow. I mean, it sounds like that's actually a thing.
It
It
would
seems
be a
like that would
thing.
be a good idea, right?
It would be for sustainability. I mean, if we get cut off for any reason, Cascade Rising, we won't have food coming in. It'd be really good if we could grow our own food here, which is one of the reasons we want to have gardens here. But the real reason, and I'll get back to that point, the real reason that I'd love to have gardens here is that the process of growing a garden in your neighborhood brings people together and helps them learn how to work together. And
Mhm.
it shows that there can be a beneficial win from working with your neighbors. So as you learn to work with your neighbors and the people, and let's be honest, a bunch of your neighbors are going to go, yeah, I'm not really interested in that. But as they start getting, as you give them fruit and vegetables for their table, they start realizing that there's a benefit to this that they didn't see because we're being told that everybody tries to take from everybody else and there's no benefits. So we want people to work together. We want people to see the mutual benefits. We want people to experience the benefit of real food and the benefit of working with your neighbors.
I also think there's getting back to bartering and exchange. I think is
Mhm.
important also, right?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to grow, but let's say I didn't, but I had mechanical skills. So hey, yeah, I'll take some of these fruits and vegetables, and I'll do an oil
And
change.
I'll
Or
fix your weed eater that fell apart after 1 year of ownership, like so
absolutely,
many of mine have.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think once it really gets going, and if I'm, really cultivating the relationship in my neighborhood, you know, who knows? I can carve out a little bit so that other folks can come and plant some things there. And the exchange is, hey, just come and tend it because obviously I'll be providing the water, so my water bill will go up a little bit. You tend it, you grow your fruits and vegetables, and help to tend the larger community greenhouse. I think it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely so. And the whole point is if the whole point of stone soup really is if everybody gives a little bit, everybody does better. And it's not a 1-to-1. You give a little bit and you get 10 times more as the community comes together. Everybody does.
What I think is also powerful is, sadly, we're still quite divisive. Um, but
Oh,
also,
it's an election year. It's going to get worse.
it is going to get worse. But also, we do want to keep an eye on our youth and make sure that they're doing things that are good and wholesome and they're not getting into trouble. And that's a great thing to help them, to get them involved as you start and help them to cultivate it through the summertime. Um, because it is a lot of fun and kids love it, right? I mean, little kids love it, kids of all ages. So if you get that buy in and get them, it's like get outside and touch some grass, right? Get off the video game sticks, get off of Instagram, come out, help tend the garden, grow some of the things that you like to eat. These growing youth that eat like grown adults, you're gonna help.
Yep.
you know.
And to be honest, I mean, I'd like to go back to a time where youth do not suspect anything when they pick a vegetable off of a bush.
Mm.
Back in the day when I was growing up, I mean, we had orchards around us, and I'd go grab an apple and eat it as I was going for a hike in the hills. Um, and not that I was stealing apples. The farmer knew that the kids would come by and grab apples. He had no real problem with it. Um, but when I was in Hawaii, one of my favorite memories of living in Hawaii for a year. And when I say living in Hawaii, I was couch surfing with locals for a year because a friend of mine was half Hawaiian, half Irish, and we went to Hawaii together. And it just ended up happening that we would be staying with relatives in Oahu and on Maui and hanging out. But one of my favorite memories is walking down the Seven Sacred Pools where they have guava trees that grow over the pools and grabbing a guava and eating a fresh guava on the way down the hiking trail. It was amazing. And I have never forgotten the flavor of that. Just phenomenal.
So I grew up in the city, and we may have tried to eat some of the apples. I mean, they're really small,
Oh,
but
crap. Hopefully not crab
blackberries,
apples.
blackberries was our thing.
Yeah.
We would go out and get blackberries and just play outside and come back. Our hands are all stained, and oh, it was great.
Yeah. So yeah, I grew up in San Bernardino, California. And back when there were orchards all over the place, and you can go hiking um, for miles and miles and miles. So it was a lot of high desert, but it was a great place to grow up, except for the smog, because I lived there before the Clean Air Act, and it was pretty nasty up against the mountain sometimes. But we need to generate those memories again of neighborhoods where kids are safe, where you don't have to worry about predators, where you don't where they can eat food from a garden that's being grown by everybody there,
Mm.
where everybody keeps an eye on everybody else and make sure they're okay. Now, everybody and we all have been trained to fear that idea, because oh my God, cities. I mean, look around you, really. Um, Neighbors, oh my God, yeah, but people are people, and when you build relationships, you build links with them, and you create safety nets around you of people who will know if you've gotten sick and they haven't seen you for a few days, they'll go check on you. And if they see your kid talking to somebody down the street that's looking a little shady, they will say something to your kid or get in touch with you or make sure that things are safer. And in this way, we make everything safer.
Well, and I will give you, even in growing up in Seattle, that's how it was on our block. We had the most kids. 'Cause, my dad adopted a bunch of children. We had a basketball hoop, so all the kids would come to our house and play. Um, but my dad had a rule, right? You can't go to a friend's house unless he knows the parents, which I think is great. And parents, I encourage you to get back to that. Like
Mhm.
Layla has just experienced her first sleepover, and she's 12, right? um, just because you want to make sure that people's parenting styles are similar and they're not going to be exposed to some things that you're not comfortable with, and that your child is going to be safe in someone else's care. But we could play up and down the street, and we were protected. Some people, and this was I'm old now, so we believe in corporal punishment. But some of my neighbors could tap that booty if need be, if you were acting out. And it kept us safe, right? I grew up at a time when my third grade principal was really good friends with my father, and I got the paddle, and it was an old black lady, Aura Franklin, and this paddle had holes in it, and it whistled when she swung it. And for an old lady, man, she could she put her back into it, but it just, it
It left an
we knew that
impression.
we were safe and we were looked out for. And I was a great student growing up, so, like dad was there when dad wasn't there.
Yep, everybody watched. And I grew up in a neighborhood. Okay, this is going to be a bad example, but kind of bear with me on it.
Okay,
My dad would send me down when I was like 7, I guess, 6 or 7. My dad would send me down to the corner store to pick up milk and cigarettes and bring them back.
okay.
And
Yeah,
I
it
would
was
go
a
down.
different
I,
time.
I, I would go down, and they would give them to me, and I would go back to the house and deliver them. And I know that, but you got to remember, for all of you people who do the oh my God, cigarettes and a kid council goes. This was the 1950s, okay?
Oh, no, Mark, that still
It's
happens in bodegas all over New York. I'm sure there's spots all over the country where that still happens.
and I just want the people who are like freaking out. Oh my God, a kid went and got cigarettes for his dad. Different time, different mores.
Well, it's not
Okay,
like you smoked the cigarettes, right?
no,
That would have been a bad thing. There would have been
yeah.
some serious consequences if you smoked one of your dad's cigarettes, I assume.
Yeah, but I did drink the milk and had it in my cereal. But yeah, but the thing is that the storekeepers knew who I was,
Mhm.
and I could go down there and get the stuff and come home, and they'd let Dad know that they watched me all the way there, all the way back. We knew the neighbors who ran the gas station down the street. We knew the people who ran the Vince's Italian restaurant, and grandma, I can't remember her last name now, who cooked all the food in the restaurant. We knew everybody, the businesses. We knew the dentist. We were on the first name basis. Rather, didn't know the dentist, but we were on first name basis with the dentist, with everybody in the neighborhood. Watched out for each other,
So you're
and
saying you
sometimes
didn't have a milk mustache and you're blowing rings at 13 years old?
no, no, or even 9 when this was happening.
At 9?
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I might have had a candy cigarette or two, but I don't actually
I've
think I
had candy
even.
cigarettes. Do they even sell those anymore?
Some places have them. They have like antique, older style candy. There was a
So
place over
crazy.
here. There's a place over here. It's not there anymore, but it was over where Papa Murphy's was in the kind of Goodwill complex off to
Mm-hmm.
the side that specialized in old candies, older style candies like the Boston baked bean candies
Oh, one of
and
my faves.
those licorice pipes and candy cigarettes and the blackjack gum and all of those things. They had all the old style candies. The only thing that seems to have disappeared over the years that they've morphed into something other, and we're going to talk about candy for a moment, I guess, is what I grew up loving. Is my favorite candy of all time is red vines. The red
What?
vines, the red vines they sell today are garbage compared to what they were like in the 60s and 70s.
I wasn't
And it,
alive in the 60s, 70s, so I don't know, but red vines are my favorite. So,
yeah, they're okay today. But what I used to get that back in the day, what I used to get when I was growing up was a far different thing than what it is today. First of all of the ones today are corn syrup based,
mm.
and they were not that way back in the 60s and 70s.
They
So
do have some natural sugar ones that they were selling for a while. I don't see them very often,
yeah, so
or
it
probably
was
I don't think I see them anymore at all. Just the regular ones and sugar free.
yeah, and it's like they don't really exist anymore. I mean, I'd like to get back. Okay, I'm going to have to divert here for just a moment and make a clear statement. Not everything in the past is better than it is today, but a lot of things were.
Let's go down memory lane.
Ooh, um, neighborhoods and neighbors were way better. Um, I never really thought about anybody being in my business, and dad, mom never did either. But we had people in our business. They were neighbors. They hung out with us. We barbecued with them. We knew what each other did. We built relationships, and we had a level of security in our neighborhood because of it. We don't do that anymore. And there's lots of reasons for it. If you come to one of the workshops, I'll probably talk about the steps that happen to make that occur. Um, and on all things, I think we can agree that quality has not improved over the years. Quality has decreased over the years, along with planned obsolescence. And I kind of jokingly told Marwan that, for my weed eater that I spent $149 on, that lasted one season, and then the next year the fuel lines had rotted through.
Oh wow.
So, and this is like I had a series of weed eaters I would buy, and I go to the small engine repair people, and they go, "Oh, it's not worth doing. Just go buy a new one."
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to somebody yesterday morning, and he said the local farmer where he is had a rototiller that wasn't working. He was going to go buy a new one, so he gave it to this guy, and the guy fixed it overnight, and suddenly had a rototiller working. But planned obsolescence means that what you're buying isn't going to last very long, and we can take that down a line, but we will do that another time about where replacing something constantly that isn't working because it's designed to fail
Mm-hmm.
takes resources and creates waste. I want you to just keep that in mind, and we will go back and hammer on that in another episode.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. One, but two, we get socialized into it, right? And again, it's we the people. We have so much power, but we lean into it, and then we need the new iPhone every year or the new Samsung, and we just go. It's so
Or the
bizarre.
new car, every 3 years, and
My
now
car
they're
is
not. Yeah, they're not even lasting that long anymore. Um,
my car is old, old.
yeah, yeah. So the one of the things that going back to gardening and bringing people together and kind of talking about the stone soup, and I'll touch on the other pieces of it in a bit, but food has lost 50%. That's 50% of its nutritional value over the last 70 years. So the apple you got in the 1960s and 50s, 60s, and 70s is not the same apple as you have today. The apple you have today has less flavor. It has been modified to last on the shelf longer. It has been chemically altered in all kinds of ways to keep it, safe from pests and everything else. and it has less nutritional value by 50% or more than it did 70 years ago.
So let me ask you, because you can go into Trader Joe's and you can go into really any grocery store
Mhm.
and you'll see, oh, organic, and some of that's even a lie. Um, for the products that are being earnest in their claims, are you getting that back, or is that pretty much across the board? And then my second question is, can we reverse that at all, or are we too far gone?
No, we can reverse that by doing what I mean. That's why Crystal is pushing soil health so heavily, is
Mhm.
because you have to reestablish health in the soil. You need to move away from the chemical invasiveness of growing process. You need to, uh, you know, one of the reasons that food is becoming more scarce is that it's harder and harder to grow. The reason we don't have as much selection is it's harder and harder to grow because we are chemically altering the soil and force feeding the soil for one product growing in cycles in which it was never designed to do. That's not how the earth works. It's not how nature works. It's not how anything works. And if you don't think that food is natural, you're living on the wrong planet.
Well, and I was just
Um,
about to ask you about that because it was probably a year and a half ago now where you were sharing with us about the metals in the greens out of California. Uh, and
yeah,
it's
the
like,
toxic levels of cadmium. Yes.
yeah, it's like, so, how do we, it
Well,
almost
that okay.
can't
So
even grow in the ground. We have to grow
the,
in planters.
well, you have to filter the water before you use it. But let's talk about the Central California dropping 5 meters because they've sucked all the water out of the aquifers.
Wow.
So what we're talking about is a series of dominoes falling, a cascade of problems that we have created for ourselves over years. And I know you guys don't want to hear about that. Okay. Nobody wants to hear about things out of their control that is going to create catastrophe because you get hit with catastrophe every 5 seconds. But here's the good news: we can change it overnight. And it's not good news because I'm going to sell you something, because that's the way our system works, isn't it? I got good news for you. All you have to do is write 99.95 and I will send you all of the solutions world. No,
Hey,
that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your
I'm one of those guys. You put new on it.
yeah.
I'll try.
So what you have to do is roll up your sleeves, get to know your neighbors, and find out what your soil is doing in your yard, and spend some time healing the soil and making sure that what you've got is good. And that does not mean spraying glyphosate on it. It means that you need to bring some nutrients back into it, the microbes that inhabit the earth that make everything nutritious. Okay, that's the process. And so we need to heal the soil.
Well, let
Um,
me say,
but
I'm a
I want to finish that thought for just a second.
go ahead.
And we cannot count on corporations who make lots of money selling you monocrops to do that. And if they continue down the path they have, they will be out of business in 60 years because they're killing the soil.
What
If
kind
in
of
order
crops?
monocrops, it means like there are 1,000 types of corn. They grow one. They grow
Ah,
it year after year after year after year.
thank you.
So you need diversity. You need soil health. You need things that they do not pay any attention to because it doesn't bring them in extra money. So growing locally and working together in neighborhoods and providing your own food and creating your own food as you grow, that is a way to move forward and to help heal the soil. Now,
Oh,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, no, no. I was jumping in on you. I just wanted to say, because you triggered me with something. You said, we can reverse it overnight. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I did want to share from my perspective. Like, I'm a big boy, right? And I'm not going to get the weight off tomorrow, but
Mhm.
I can do things and add things slowly through diet and exercise, and park farther when I drive away from where I go in, and take the stairs more often, and whatever those things are, pack a lunch, right? I can start to slowly implement those things and reverse it. So even though it might sound dire, like, oh man, we're only getting 50% of the nutrients and we need to do all these things to reverse and change it,
Mhm.
the greenhouse, creating friendships and community, starting to grow, taking power over it, uh, um, getting knowledge over it. I won't be buying shredded cheese anymore. I was watching a YouTube channel, and they put some chemicals, and one is actually a prescription medicine in order to keep the cheese from molding and coagulating together.
Yeah, and
I
frequently
didn't know that.
in my case, frequently they use cornstarch.
Which I
And
mean, and I don't have the cornstarch issue, so I don't have that. I have to watch my diet that much. But man, I love the farmhouse Tillamook cheese, but that cheese lasts for months. And I was remarking, I think it was about a year ago, and because Rob and Stephanie, shout out to them, will go and do a lot of my grocery shopping, and they'll get 2 bags of Tillamook cheese, and it will last me 3 months, 4 months.
Mhm.
It's like this cheese is not molding at all, right? And you're thankful because food costs so much, and you don't want to have to use it, immediately.
But you're
Uh,
a little worried.
but yeah, then at the same time, you're like, well, what the hell is in this cheese? Because growing up in the past, if you didn't get through that cheese in a week, it was greening.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't had a block of cheese with mold on it, and I can't remember how long.
So
And we used to just cut the mold off and
I,
keep
I
eating it.
yeah, same here. But
Mhm.
I mentioned once before that I read an article a while back, probably many years back now, where they were considering splicing salmon genes into strawberries to make them last longer.
That's disgusting.
But would you even know?
No, no, no. Yeah, that's unsettling.
Yeah. So I prefer my fruit and vegetables to be, pretty clear being fruit and vegetables. I like my fish to be fish, um, and not Frankenfish. So yeah, it's there. There's a lot of concern about things that they're adding to things, and let's be honest, we have cognitive dissonance in this weird way where we will say this company is bad, but I buy this, so it must be okay. It's not based on anything except that we use it, and it's not real, but we have this dissonance in our head that can hold two truths as universal
You know what I
when
would
they
love
aren't.
you know what I would love to do is hold one minute.
Yeah. Just a note while he's doing that is that I also do this. So it's not like I'm saying you guys. I also am guilty of that same thing where, oh, well, I use this, so it must be fine, and I have no basis and I have nothing to base that on except that it's my own dissonance about it. I call myself on it frequently, and I try and improve as I can. Um, so I just wanted to make sure I said that.
Gotcha. I actually lost my thought, and it was super important. Oh, I just remembered it. I would love, and I think what I'm gonna try to do is reach out to some of the superintendents. But one of the things that we have to do is we say the children are our future, right?
Mhm.
And that is absolutely right. So I think we have to start back at schools. So we should have community gardens in elementary, in kindergarten, and start from there. We obviously need to get back to metal shop and wood shop and home ec and all those things that were lost. So, you know, our children are resilient. We have the
Mhm.
fewest skills and the most access to technology in our lifetime, right? There's this ratio that it's like the more technology we have, the less skills humans have, in just in basic living. So I think that would be fantastic. I would have loved for Layla as the fifth grader to go out into the garden and have a part of recess. And then after that, while you're outdoors, you're watering the plants and learning about food and fruits and vegetables and taking care of it. Your thoughts on that?
That is actually part of the Food for All project.
Mm,
It's in the plan.
okay.
And I want to show you something I've been looking for while you were talking. I was paying attention to you. I
Oh,
had
I
to
saw you
find
smiling like, ha, you triggered my trap card.
the. So I'm going to flip
You're like, I don't
something to
even know what
you.
Yu is.
Yeah, I'm going to flip something to you right now to put up on the screen. Um, oh, come on. Facebook is being a pain in the rear. What a surprise.
Well, I can't help you with that, unfortunately. I can send you nice thoughts. It's about the extent of it.
Yeah, it's okay. Everything on Facebook right now is a little challenging. Okay, I am sending you a link I would like you to put up. I want to tell us a little story about it because it speaks exactly to what you just said.
Okay. Oh, how come you didn't put it in the chat?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I should have.
Like you sent it to Messenger? Okay. All
Sorry,
right.
it isn't.
It's fine. I'm pulling it
Okay.
up. This will take me an extra second though. I'm
Yeah,
almost there.
habit,
I got
and
you.
I had to go to Facebook to pull it. So,
Mm, no worries. We are resilient, right?
yep.
Bam. Oops.
Okay, so this picture here, I posted this on the Kids Up Resiliency page, and I shared it with the Minute Neighborhood page. It has over 50 likes on the Minute page. Now, of course, you folks never bothered to like or share anything from the Kids Up Resiliency Project page, the 17 or 1800 of you that supposedly go there. But yeah, this was very, very powerful. And we have been talking about this in house for the Food for All project for about the last 3 years. And if Marwan wants to start talking to the superintendents, I would love to engage them. I've talked to some of the food service people, and they seem to be open to the idea. I know that Olympic High School had its own aquaponics program for a while, but I think kids need to learn how to grow. And I think as we move forward, it's very important that we provide healthy, nutritious, organic food to the school systems. And if they're growing it in their own schools, then it reduces the costs that they're spending to buy things that are substandard.
Well,
And I
and think
and I say substandard because we have all had that school cafeteria experience.
so I used to like turkey tetrazzini growing up, but my daughter absolutely abhors school lunch. So much so she will go the whole day and not eat. And she plays in multiple sports, and we're having to get on her and tell her you have to eat, Layla. It's super important. You can't go all day and not put those nutrients in your body. But I think what that would do is it would solve a lot of issues. One, it would, if you're thinking about the environment, we would have to ship less food to each school, right? They could use the rooftops, or I mean, there's so much real estate in these schools. They can either grow on the roof, grow on the side, right? Kids can eat in the gardens, so they get used to eating what they grow and change their palate and taste. I think that would be phenomenal. And then the extra could go to low income and indigent families that need extra food, and it's just right there, right?
Yep.
I think
And
that would
we
be powerful.
and we might even be able to with all of the developments in schools and building, we might even be able to put one of the grow centers on school properties where they
Well,
can
and
grow year round.
yeah, and if you're thinking of, well, where are we going to get the money from? Well, they're already spending in excess of money to provide food to the schools anyway. So
Yep.
start small,
And
diverge
build.
about 20%. Work with some organizations and corporations to have them help to supplement it to get it off the ground and go. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it'd be phenomenal.
absolutely. And I think that, if we're going to take care of our children, we should start with food.
Well, that's
And
what the puzzle pieces are, right?
yep. And by the way, mine is to embrace Layla's dislike of certain things, and you ate the turkey. I mean, we would live for lasagna and burger days because at least they couldn't damage us too much. But I hate tuna noodle casserole with a passion. And
Why?
well, my sister force fed it to me. My sister is not my best friend, and our school served tuna noodle casserole, and it was awful,
Yeah, awesome.
awful,
Kind of like the turkey fettuccine.
awful, just awful.
Just the wettest noodles, kind of a yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah,
But when you grew up on Hamburger Helper, right? I mean, it
yeah.
is what it is.
My dad cooked, which is not unusual. My mom could burn water. My dad cooked, and I started cooking at 5, so I never stopped.
So my dad
My daughter is a phenomenal cook, by
really,
the way. Yes.
so my dad cooked. We just did not appreciate his cooking until we were adults. Uh, he made lima bean soup out of the big white lima beans, and it was the grossest soup. Uh, but now as an adult, oh man, with some cornbread, it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, never happening. Lima beans are like right off my list. Succotash, lima beans,
Yeah, as a kid, it was horrible. But,
canned peas, right out there. Nope, can't do it.
oh, you don't like canned peas?
Oh God, no.
What is
I'll
wow?
eat frozen peas.
Wow, why?
The texture of canned peas is like nasty tasting paste. Yeah, I'm not really interested in that. I'll
I
eat
guess
fresh
you can
peas.
spread it.
I'll eat fresh peas. I will eat frozen peas. I will
Mhm.
not eat canned peas. I can my palate will not take them in.
Well, maybe you should spread
Um,
it like what is that when you have the avocado guacamole?
avocado, go,
Spread it on a piece of toast, some canned peas, and just spread it. That sounds kind of nasty.
yeah. I'm trying not to throw up on the mic.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna bring you some avocado toast. I'm just not gonna tell you. It's like, hey, why is this avocado a little bit darker green? Hey, don't worry about it. It's just overripe.
Yeah, it just looks gray.
Hilarious.
On the other hand, I would eat canned spinach because Popeye.
I yeah, I've eaten canned spinach. I don't know the last time I've had it.
Yeah, in my age group, Popeye the Sailor Man was a thing, and we ate canned spinach.
Oh, he might be back.
Yeah, well, we'll
They're
see.
talking about doing a live action Popeye movie.
Well, they did it, and Robin Williams just absolutely killed it. So I don't know who they
Oh,
have
yes,
to do
they did
better.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, Robin Williams, Shelley Duvall, it was fabulous. So yeah, I don't know who they'd get to do it better than Robin Williams did.
Yeah. We're
So
gonna have to get some younger people on this show. So
yeah,
I already know Shelley Duvall.
we're working on it. Anyway, we're wrapping up, and we've gone way
Go
off
back to
topic.
the 60s and
So
70s.
going,
I wasn't
so
even born then,
yeah,
and I'm old.
let's wrap back up to Stone Soup. Matthew was there talking about solar and what he had originally called phase two. And this is one of my favorite things about dealing with people is that he explained this whole philosophy about phase two of solar, which is on everybody's roofs and how we get there. And when I said, I really want you to talk about phase two solar, and he says, what are you talking about? And I said, what you talked to me about this is, oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't called it that for a while, but all right. We move on, and you feel like a complete idiot because you didn't keep up with the vernacular. So we
Mm-hmm.
talked about soil. We had Division of Vocational Rehabilitation there, talking about their services for people with disabilities. Um, I had a booth there that I actually never went back and talked to people about, talking about the future of building and how we have to look at things slightly differently. Because if we start getting hotter and hotter and hotter, as we already are, you're going to find that stick houses, or stick houses being wood houses that we build around here, are going to get very expensive to heat and cool, and that you're going to be very uncomfortable in them. And we talked a little bit about the security of the grid, which tied right into Matthew's renewable energy piece. Because if we all went out and bought air conditioners and we turned them on, the grid would go down. So these are things that are dots connecting as the future changes and the dominoes fall that we need to start addressing fairly soon. So, as while we focus on the gardens and food security, because it's quite honestly the easiest and it brings people together, we have a lot of other things that we like to focus on that will make our lives better going into the future if we start pushing for those changes now. And that was the heart of Stone Soup. If everybody does a little bit, everybody wins.
Well, why don't we share some pictures for the last 5 minutes, and
Okay,
I'll
let's
just
do
get
it.
your thoughts as I pop them on there.
Okay. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit. Chef Chris now right here with the curly hair on the corner. Chris is phenomenal. You can throw ingredients at him, and he will make something amazing. And he did this once before for us. He's come out and slung burgers for us at a couple barbecues. He's phenomenal, and I love Chris to death. He's placed in several world cooking championships. He's just good people. Tom and Heather, who are there, they are the proprietors of Black Ring Spirits in Port Orchard in the Town Country Mall. And we had an entire team of people that just volunteered to jump into the kitchen and start working with Chris at the end of the evening or the end of the prep time and start serving people up. Just amazing show of community. We have Juniper there, and I'm not sure who the person right in front of us in center is. But we had a good group of people there. I got a chance to meet and talk to a lot of folks.
Well, and I don't think I can show any other pictures because my pictures froze.
Oh, okay. That's why the little thing was spinning in the background.
Yep.
Okay,
Well,
so
to share, I'll send some to you to put up on the page, and I'll put some
yep.
up also. But I got great shots of all the awardees, and then the whole event was recorded. So I need to
So
shrink that down so you have a copy of it.
yeah, if you could for next week's show is up. We were going to be talking about. I can't remember what we're talking about right now, but why don't we spend 15 minutes of next week's show with a 15-minute video clip of the event?
I will endeavor to try to make that happen. I
Okay.
can't give you an absolute promise on that, but I will try.
Okay. So just some things of people moving around, maybe a little bit of the people getting awards and such.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my hope was to have that ready for today, and I just wasn't able to do it.
Well, maybe another week out we'll be able to do that. The only picture I have of the event is somebody taking a picture of me eating.
Oh, you know what? I have I'll give a secret. I've got a picture of Mark dancing.
Uh-oh.
You're wondering when that was.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
Oh God. Okay. I have just broken a sweat and live in abject terror of what I'm going to see.
Do you
Nobody
remember
wants
when you were dancing?
nobody wants to see a 66-year-old man dancing. It
Oh
just doesn't
no, it
look
was
good.
great. It was great. I think it was
Um,
just what you needed too.
huh?
It was just what you needed too. You don't remember when you were dancing, do you?
Yeah, I think I was dancing at one point when I was moving tables, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I wasn't there when you were moving tables
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because
I
I
don't
had to
know.
grab it.
I don't know exactly when I was dancing, but
Good,
I
then it will be a surprise for you.
yeah, it will be a surprise for me.
I can see you look really excited right now. Like, oh boy.
Well, you know what they say, dance like nobody's watching.
All right. Well, you pretty much did. So yeah, this would be fantastic. So look forward to that. I'll make sure that makes it into the montage.
Okay, cool. So yeah, next week we will look at that a little bit, and we will be talking about whatever we're talking about. But I actually have the next two settled in to 105, and they are up to just ready to go. And I have an idea of 5 to 10 and what that's going to be about.
All right. I like it. I believe the next one is Food for All Phase 1.
Yep. Okay, that's the gardening piece, and we will be talking more about the gardening piece and where we're going with that. So we will expand on some of what we touched on today.
Yep, and after that is planting seeds.
Yep. And planting seeds is not necessarily about gardens.
No, I know you like to have a play on words a lot.
Oh, I wanted to tell you about the newest addition to the Kids Up Resiliency Project page.
Oh, hey.
And it's partly inspired by you
Okay.
and tipping points and puzzle pieces. I have decided that every Wednesday morning I will post a word on the Kids Up Resiliency Project page and hope that people will say how that word has affected them in their life, or the meaning of that word has affected them in life, possibly tell stories, or say what the word means to you.
Oh, I love it.
And so a word went up this morning, and that word is, let me get back to it.
It's on the website?
It's on the Kids Up Resiliency Project page.
Oh, okay.
And Facebook now makes me take 2 steps to get there. Discernment.
Discernment. The power of discernment.
Yes. So every week there will be a word up there every Wednesday morning, and I hope that we can have discussions about it and talk about it and see if we understand the words more.
All right, I like it.
And we are out of time, so what's the last word of the day, Marwan?
Discernment. You just said it.
Okay.
It's discernment. So look it up, use it in a sentence, share it with the young ones, and wow people with your vernacular.
Yep. And there we are.
All right. So for Mark Boatwright Frost, I am Marwan Cameron. This is Tipping Points and Puzzle Pieces. We will see you next Wednesday. Same bad time, same bad channel. Tune in at 5:30 tonight for City Council. Until then, happy Valentine's Day if that's what you do. And